Yeah, kids do well if they can is a big deal. It's the belief that if the kid could do well, the kid would do well. There are so many things we say about kids who aren't doing well that aren't true, that are based on adult suppositions about why a kid is doing poorly. I experienced that firsthand today. As I was in Boston at a special school for kids who are struggling, and sat through 50 minutes of people talking about their theories about why a particular student isn't producing much work. And I had had enough after about 5 minutes, but this was the first such meeting I had sat in, so I didn't want to be impatient. So I waited for 50 minutes. And the reason I was in the meeting is because they said to me, we don't know what's getting in this kid's way. And after 50 minutes of them listening, of them telling each other what they thought was getting in the kid's way, I announced to them that it was clear to me why they still didn't know what was getting in the kid's way. They hadn't asked the most important person, the kid. So it was purely adult conjecture. And as you all know, your number one source of information on what's getting in a kid's way is the kid. A lot of what I was hearing was related to kids do well if they wanna. They were thinking that if they just came up with the right hook, this kid would do well. And by hook, they meant right teacher, right reward. And this is what this kid has been getting for a very long time. This kid is now a 10th grader. And as I heard about her history, I said to them, this kid hasn't done well for a very, very long time. And I suspect that it's because people have been trying to come up with the right hook, with the right reward, founded on the belief that she just doesn't want to do well. Kids do well if they can ties us into the vast research literature telling us that kids who aren't doing well, especially those with concerning behaviors, are lacking crucial cognitive skills. And in the case of concerning behaviors, what we're talking about here are global skills like flexibility, adaptability, frustration tolerance, problem solving, emotion regulation. I suspect that this particular student is lacking skills in some other areas. It's interesting to me that when they ask her to write, she walks out of the classroom. There's a pretty powerful hint about why the kid isn't doing well. And by the way, if she is having difficulty writing, that's something that a hook or a reward isn't going to address. And that's why she's still walking out of the classroom when they ask her to write. So this is a big deal, this distinction between kids do well if they can and kids do well if they wanna. Kids do well if they wanna prompts us to figure out why the kid doesn't wanna do well, and that usually comes down to motivation. Kids do well if they can prompts us to look at what the research tells us about why a kid isn't doing well. They're lacking some very important skills. And those lagging skills are particularly problematic with them in certain conditions. And what do we call those conditions in the collaborative and proactive solutions model? We call them unsolved problems. The good news is that school is on its way to identifying every single expectation this student is having difficulty meeting across the course of the school day. I suspect that's going to number 40 or 50. And this will be the first time in any school that anybody has done her that favor. Then they can start solving problems. And when they're solving problems collaboratively and proactively, they will simultaneously be enhancing the very skills she's lacking. So this is a very big paradigm shift for a lot of people, a lot of caregivers who think it's their job to just come up with the perfect incentive or the perfect punishment that will get the job done. And I think that when that's all we're doing, we are at the surface. We need the kid to help us understand what's really getting in their way. And when we find out what's really getting in their way, we find out that it's something a reward and or a punishment isn't going to touch.